Hi, I'm Jason Doro. I'm a fantasy author, and I'm here to tell you that your first draft is garbage. But that's okay, though, because mine is too. As Ernest Hemingway famously said, paraphrasing, the first draft of anything is poop. Terry Pratchett put it a little more encouragingly. The first draft is just you telling yourself the story. But the one that really resonates with me the most is when Shannon Hale said, "I'm writing a first draft and reminding myself that I'm simply shoveling sand into a box so that later I can build castles." The way I personally think about it is that if writing a book is kind of like making a sculpture, then the first draft is when you just slap the clay on the table and start kneading it with your hands. It's not until later that you actually form it into all the details it'll have. The first draft is just that act of putting clay down so you have something to work with. As you might guess from what I just said, I feel like the most important part of the writing process is in the editing and revisions. That's when your book really becomes your book. It's when all the stuff you've wanted the story to accomplish finally comes through and gets accomplished. And everything that comes before the revisions is important and is an essential part of the process. But all that early stuff isn't good, and it shouldn't be good. Writing is a journey from the initial crap all the way to the eventual brilliance. And yes, I'm aware that some people do produce really clean and wonderful first drafts. They probably do a lot of front-loading and planning and designing, and then they somehow pull off the incredible feat of writing an amazing first draft the first time through. Those people aren't who I'm talking to here. They're the exception and not the rule, and I'm not even fully convinced they're human. But the truth is that for the rest of us, and that's a huge majority of us, the first draft isn't good. It's going to bear some resemblance to the story you have in your head, but it's probably a long way from something you'd be proud to put your name on and show people. Recognizing that fact and accepting it and then embracing it is such an important part of becoming a productive writer. If you go into your projects telling yourself you're going to get it perfect on the first draft, and then you set out drafting with the expectation that the first draft is going to be the final draft, you're just going to put a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself. You're going to go through a lot of stress you don't need to go through. And then you're going to be disappointed and discouraged at the end. You're going to have a whole lot of words written down that aren't good, and you just won't be able to understand why. Instead of putting yourself through that nonsense, I want you to start out and tell yourself that the first draft is going to be garbage. Give yourself permission to write something bad. Just throw those words down as fast as you can go. If you can keep yourself from editing as you go, that helps too. I know that's hard for a lot of people, but I do encourage you to at least try writing and not going back to change anything until you have finished the whole thing. You're going to have to edit it anyway, so just plow straight through it and don't look back until you cross the finish line. Allowing yourself to write a terrible first draft is such a freeing thing, and it makes it so much more likely that you'll actually finish the book. So yeah, your first draft is garbage. Mine is too, and so are the vast majority of first drafts. Learn that your first draft is garbage, love that fact, and revise it into something brilliant. Let me know how bad your first drafts have been. Leave a comment below, and as always, a like and subscribe are always appreciated.